What is going on, ladies and gents? Michael or Legacy Kill HD back today with another Elder Scrolls 6 video for you, and today we're going to be concentrating on the continent of AKAVIR, which is east of Tamriel. We're going to be going through all kinds of information and lore about it, and how it could be involved in the Elder Scrolls 6, or possibly a spin-off game by Bethesda Game Studios. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys that wanted to see me discuss AKAVIR, and that's why we're discussing it today, because I really do think there's a possibility that Bethesda Game Studios will be making something with AKAVIR. It's just a very intriguing land that we don't know much about. Last week we discussed Yokuda with the Redguard trademarks, and that's why I wanted to get into AKAVIR. I know there's a lot of you guys in the comments that have been discussing that AKAVIR makes the most sense for the future of Elder Scrolls. So let's dive into the location. As I said before, it is east of Tamriel. It's a pretty huge continent. It's separated into 4 lands, territories as far as we know. We have Kamal, we have Saisi, we have Tangmo, and Kapotun, if I believe I said that right. And each territory actually has a distinctive race that belongs to it, the political factions I should say, and we're actually going to be discussing them and how they've had a huge impact on AKAVIR and Tamriel, and that's what we're actually going to be going through, and how they could have a future in the next Elder Scrolls games to be. Now we're going to begin with the snow demons of Kamal. They resemble giants made of snow with huge crystals sticking out of their backs. What we know history-wise is that in the mid-Second Era, their king led a huge naval invasion to Tamriel, which they landed by the city of Windhelm, which they took easily, but they were fought off by the Ebonheart Pact, eventually being defeated. And we don't know much about the snow demons of Kamal, except for the fact that they have a very big hatred towards the monkey people of Tangmo, and they actually, I guess, thaw out one day and they pretty much destroy them, but they don't destroy them enough to wipe them out. But to our next race, we have the Serpent Men of Saisi. They are the largest of AKAVIR, not most powerful, but it's rumored that men were all eaten by the Saisi, but they may not actually be literal, but we'll get into that a little bit later. They are a race of snake vampires and or humans, and they have a very big role in the Elder Scrolls games. They pretty much probably have the biggest influence into Tamriel of an AKAVIR race. Late in the First Era, Tamriel was actually invaded by the Saisi, but the invasion was halted by Raymond I and his armies. The AKAVIR forces were destroyed, and those who remained living were offered amnesty to fight for the Empire. The AKAVIR who accepted later played important roles in Tamriel's growing society, such as the Blades formation. And then at the end of the First Era, Saisi Potentate Versadu Shea is said to have killed off all of Raymond Cyrodiil III's heirs, and Raymond III died with no successor, which led to the Potentate taking command for 300 years until he was assassinated by the Morag Tang, which was the cause of the outlaw, the actual guild. And his son would actually rule for another 100 years, but before he would actually be assassinated, until once again an Imperial would take the throne. During the Third Era Empire, Uriel V took the throne of the Empire. He led a series of invasions leading up to an assault upon AKAVIR, in which he landed on the coast of Saisi. The invasion on AKAVIR failed, and Uriel V died in the Battle of Ionith. The Saisi are a very menacing force to be reckoned with, and as we have seen through history, the Saisi will not back down, and it seems to be that they could be the biggest players if we do get an AKAVIR game. This actually leads me to my next race, and that is an extinct one. That is the Men of AKAVIR, the humans. There are some conflicting reports that they died out long ago, or they were eaten by the Saisi, or that they were actually the Saisi themselves. The term that the eaten actually has been debated. I guess it has been said that it could be a non-literal meaning, that the AKAVIR were actually assimilated or brought into the kingdom of the Saisi, which would also make much more sense as the AKAVIR invade Tamriel under the Saisi's banner and later become the Blades, obviously. But it is definitely just wanted to note that as a very big interesting fact. If we did get an AKAVIR game, it doesn't necessarily mean we would have any humans around us. It would definitely seems to be a lot of different types of interesting races. Now, this moves on to our next race, which is the Monkey People of Tangmo, which we really don't know much about, but they are the inhabitants of the 1,000 Monkey Isles, and it is said that they have been oppressed by the 3 other races throughout history, with slavery and all kinds of other different types of things. As I said before, with snow demons of Kamal, they actually thaw out one time a year and pretty much try to destroy the Monkey People of Tangmo, but they never do. I guess the Monkey People of Tangmo are actually prepared for it, seems to be. But they have a very deep hatred for the Saisi. There isn't really much history on why that is so. You would think that they'd have a more deeper hatred for the snow demons of Kamal, but that is actually not the case. But it is said that they have allied with the tiger dragons of Kapotun to take on the Saisi. And that actually leads me to the last race of AKAVIR, the Tiger Dragons at Cape Platoon, which are said to look very similar to the Khajiit or Lilmuthite. And if you guys obviously know, the Khajiit are like cat-like creatures, and the Lilmuthite are kind of like fox-like creatures, but they're extinct, and they're native to Argonia or Black Marsh. Maybe someday we actually get an appearance of them. That'd be pretty cool. But through concept art, pretty much we can make out that the tiger dragons are pretty much like tiger creatures in a sense, kind of looking a lot like the Khajiit or the Lilmuthite, like I said before. But we know that the tiger dragons of Cape Platoon are ruled by the Tashraka, who is the only known of his species to be able to morph into a dragon, which a lot of them see him as a god now. Tashraka actually envisions destroying the Saci and taking over AKAVIR and then invading Tamriel. And currently they're actually at war with the Saci for control of AKAVIR. The result of the war that they've been going through is actually suffered a lot. They've lost all of their dragons. They've all been killed off throughout AKAVIR, and each race has actually been weakened by this war. And it's said that they have actually gained the war because of Tashraka's ability to transform into a dragon, and he's actually become the Tiger Dragon Emperor. And they have become allies with the monkey people to take on the Saci, pretty much just gaining even more power. And that's probably why Tashraka actually believes that it will be pretty easy to defeat the Saci, as they have the upper hand now. But that's just some of the information that we know of AKAVIR, giving a quick outline what to expect if we do get an AKAVIR game, and the different types of races that do exist within AKAVIR. Let me know in the comment section what race you guys think could be the major player if we do get an AKAVIR game. Now let's move on to the next topic of this video, and that is the possibility of how this could tie into an Elder Scrolls game. Now, I've already talked about in a couple of my most recent videos where I believe that there's a chance that following the events of Morrowind, we know that the Nerevarine has set sail for AKAVIR. We don't know what he has found or what he is doing there, and I said there's a good possibility maybe in a spin-off game we follow his path and explore AKAVIR and figure out what is going on there and the conflicts they've already, obviously, as I've said before, there are many conflicts going on within each race. Maybe we have to stop the Cape Platoon from invading Tamriel, or maybe we just follow a new character completely and we enter the land of AKAVIR with the ongoing conflicts between each race, and maybe we decide what side we'll be taking on. Maybe we'll bring AKAVIR to destruction, or maybe we'll bring it to prominence. I really do think this is a very likely idea for a spin-off idea or game, but I also could see this being the Elder Scrolls 6 setting. It would be the craziest idea Bethesda Game Studios could give us, but it would also be something different that nobody expected, and I know that Todd Howard loves giving people that. The shock value is really something that Bethesda Game Studios strives on, and if we did get that game, you know, I've already said with the conflicts, we have Tashraka, maybe we have to stop him, and maybe he's become too much power, and then we could also go down the Stacy line. Maybe we find out what actually happened to the men. Maybe they did get eaten, that'd be crazy. And then we also have the snow demons of Kamal. Maybe we fight into their menacing force and see what type of kingdom that they have, because we really don't know much about them. And then there's always the possibility that the monkey people of Tangmo are tired of being oppressed and maybe they want to kick some monkey ass now. There's just so many different plot lines that they could go down, and I think this would just definitely be something that nobody would expect, and I really think it's a great idea that Bethesda Game Studios, hopefully they do consider. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you guys think it's possible that AKAVIR could be the next Elder Scrolls game? And guys, make sure you like the video if you did enjoy. As I've said probably 1,000 times, make sure you dive into the comments, tweet at me, make sure you guys subscribe for so many more Elder Scrolls 6 videos to come, and I'll see you later.